Today is June 22nd, and this is the 17-foot Seaward Fox for sale. I'm just going to go around and give people an idea what it kind of looks like. The boat has not been used for the last 5 years, so it's just been sitting in a storage yard since then. I just kind of unwrapped it, cleaned it up a little bit. So I did have these are brand new tires. The tires and the bearings have been re-greased and resealed. In addition to that, I added a new one of these. The old one was starting to rust away, so I put a new one of, I don't know what they call them, but puts the boat up. I had the safety chain replaced with a brand new one, and I also had the coupling innards replaced so that they're all in good shape. So one of the extras on this boat was this iron rod here that goes back. This moves out, and when you go to launch the boat, you can bring this iron rod out and extend the launch length. I don't know, it looks like about 7 feet, maybe, something like that. It really helps to put the boat in a little deeper water to launch it. This is the little winch for the boat. I had this replaced also, not recently, a number of years ago, with a more heavy duty model than was on originally. The trailer is for the most part galvanized metal. These extra pieces here are just plain old metal, so they need to be painted or they will rust. And also the upright supports back there, I think those are used when you're bringing the boat from the water just as a guide. But those upright posts are all, and these here too, these are all regular metal, and they need to be painted periodically or they will rust away. The last work I had on the bottom, I had the bottoms done by a boatyard, and they took all the extra paint off of it and smoothed it down and put a new coat of abrasive paint on here, and it has not been in the water since that was done. Underneath here we can see this is there's only a couple through holes in the hull. One is here. There's like a little sink in the side the cabin. It's sort of a joke really, but there is a sink there and it drains through there. And the other hole is in the back here. So this needs to be plugged when launching, otherwise water will fill the little back piece here. So the plug needs to go in there when launching. Here's a look at the back end. It's a wing keel, and when I had them paint the bottom last time, I also had them put some compound around the joint that connects the keel to the boat. I've never had any problems with it, but some people have had a little bit of water come in through that's bolted in onto the boat, and some people have had a little bit of water come through those bolts sometimes. I've never had that issue, but anyway, I had them just seal the joint around the keel to make sure that there isn't a problem with that at all. Also, one of the last things I had done on the boat is I had a new I don't know what you call this, engine mount here. This is brand new, and this motor was brand new. This motor only has less than 10 hours on it. I didn't even get through the break-in period with this motor because we just stopped using the boat. I bought this motor because we're in Georgia and the currents here were very strong, and I wanted a stronger motor. To tell you the truth, we didn't really use it that much, so I can't really. The motor works fine, but I also have the original motor that comes with the boat that I'm going to include, which is a 4 horsepower Evinrude. It's an older model, but it was dependable as hell, and I kind of like the little one better, I think, than the larger one. This might be a little bit more power than you typically need, though some other Foxes do have this particular motor on them. This motor is also, it's a long shaft, so it helps keep it in the water if you're in a bumpy or wavy situation. It keeps the propeller under the water there. Here's the original logo of the Seaward Fox, made by the Starboard Yacht Company. And somewhere back here in the hull is the model number. It's kind of a cloudy day today, so I'm not sure whether you can see it or not, but anyway, it's somewhere there. I can barely see it. So going across the top of the boat, so we have a connection here and a connection here. These connections are for the sunshade, or the bimini. There's a short bimini that goes behind the sail here and provides some shade for when you're sitting back in the boat. It's very nice, actually. So we have some guides here for the jib and the Genoa sail. Also, there's little holders there for right now. They're holding the shrouds that will hold the mast up. But when you're normally sailing, you can those are really good to hang. You know, the bitter ends of any lines that are coming into the cabin. You can hang them up on those little holders there. The boat does have these little plexiglass windows in the cabin and little wooden holders there if you're walking around deck. The deck is pretty good. You got a pretty good little space there to walk up to the front. And on the front of the Fox, you do have this little pulpit, which is kind of nice, and you can hold the anchor up there. And there is an anchor chain. I forget how long it is. There's some note inside the boat. It says exactly how long it is, but it's pretty good size anchor chain and rope. Also included with the boat is a storm anchor. And I don't know what size anchor this one is, but the storm anchor is like 35 pounds, so it's pretty heavy, and there's an additional line for that inside the boat. I've never had to use it, but it's in there if you ever get in a situation where you feel you want a nice heavy anchor. If you're caught in some kind of squall and you just want to anchor in place, that would be the one to use. Also, we can see the mast here, and on the mast there is these odd protrusions that I have. These are just for the cover. They're a temporary measure. When the cover is put on this, it forms like a tent, and these poles and whatnot will keep the cover rigid, and it will prevent water from just filling into your cover. So the water will run off the side of the boat, and if you just have it covered on the land, and if you have water or snow, it will just create a tent-like thing, and it will just run off. Without these, what will happen is the cover will buckle and will fill up with water. And that's a situation you don't really want. There's also it's a little old, but it still works. A little aluminum ladder back here, if you're ever in the water and you need to get out.